I'll dream until I make it real, and all I see is.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the M&M Show, the Michelle and Maren Show, the Mentorship Monday, which we are so happy to be here, and we are so happy to have you guys here. Thank you so much. And I'm so happy to see my amazing co-host, Maren. How are
Oh,
you doing, Maren?
Michelle, I just love you. I am doing great. We just came back from a vacation, so I'm well rested and
Yeah.
tan, which is exciting.
Yeah, nice, nice. Where'd you go? What kind of vacation did you have?
So we went up to Lake Michigan, kind of over in your area, your
Yeah,
neck
not
of the
too far
woods.
from me. Yeah. You
Yeah.
should if you should let me know that you were there. I would have stood on the other side. And
I know. I thought about that. I was like, man, we got to get our passports together so we can
yeah,
go visit Michelle. And I just never did
yeah,
that. So we're going to get our
yeah.
passports and we're going to come see you.
We will do that because and we will have an M&M show live, like with the two of us together.
That
I
would be
totally
so
see
fun.
that happening. Yes.
I would love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you have any remember last time you shared with us when you guys took a trip to visit friends or family and you had a really interesting experience on that trip. So did you have anything interesting on this trip?
It's kind of cool. So we
Yeah.
rented a cabin or cottage from people that we knew, and we went in together with friends. And the first night I was falling asleep and this little old lady came to me, and she was very welcoming and very, you could tell she was so proud of her cabin, and so I was like, okay, like she must be obviously one of the original owners of this cabin. And then the next morning, they were telling me how the friends we went with were telling me like how they knew the owners and like the lineage of the cabin. And I started to feel her again. And I was like, oh, she's telling me we're talking about her. And then at the end of the trip, we ended up running into like the son of the original owners. And I was like looking at him and I was like, oh my gosh, he is a spitting image of the lady. Like I could not, like it was the nose and the cheeks, like he
Yeah.
looked in the hair color, he
Yeah.
looked just like her. And I just was like literally looking at him like I was looking at a ghost. And like the whole
Yeah.
time I was just like, like they were probably like, why is that girl not talking? And because I
Yeah.
was just sitting there going, oh
It's
my
like,
gosh, I know
why is
your
that girl
mom.
stunned and staring at me?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's really fascinating. Well, okay, so how do you like see? So how did she, I know we've talked about it a bit before, but like how did you see her? Did you see her physical? Did you see, I know you see orbs and all kinds of things. So how do
Yeah,
you
so
see?
I see orbs physically, but with her and some random ghosts I've seen physically, but with her, as soon as I closed my eyes to go to sleep, that's when
Yeah.
I see them. So I see them in
Yeah.
my third eye.
Yes.
And there you go, you're
And
back.
how do they look to you? Like do you see them and the reason why I say that is when I see spirit in my third eye, it will be like a flash, like an image.
Yes, it's not like they're standing there
Right,
for 20 seconds or 30 seconds
right,
or however long it takes to get
right.
that whole like
It's
feeling.
like
It's like
flashes.
I see like a flash of them, and then I kind of get this whole like feeling of I don't
Yes.
know. Tell me this. I don't know whether or not I get it all in an instant and then it just takes me a minute to process everything else through, or if it's like I see the vision and then I feel everything else. Cause like I said, she was so warm and welcoming and like I could feel like that she was proud of the cottage that we were in. So it's like, do you get that all in an instant and then I process those emotions? Or is it like, did I see her face and then I felt all the feelings? I don't know.
It depends on the spirit is the answer I'm getting that
Okay.
and as you're saying that, so that makes sense to me because there will be some that I'll feel. So for example, I had a mother and child last night and this soul is very powerful and he had lost his life or had lost his physical life. He was murdered or he was in an accident. Really, it was terrible. Or murdered in an accident. It was an intentional situation that ended up being murder. That, I can't remember if that's second degree murder, I think they call that, right? When they don't intend. Okay, that's trailing
Yes, I
off into
think you're
something
right.
else. Okay,
Yes,
Michelle.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
something
Or
like that.
manslaughter. I don't
Um,
know.
right, right. Anyway, but my point in being is he just the amount of energy coming from him. And so for him, I felt it all at once, and
Okay.
the love for his mother and all of that. But then some, I'll feel first, I will get an image and then it'll all start to roll in. And the answer that I'm getting is it depends on what the process is. Like, what are you doing? Are you sitting with somebody? Are you getting it yourself? And the answer I'm getting for you in that particular situation was when she made the connection is the easiest way for her to connect with you was the moment that you lied down and closed your eyes, because that's like space. They know,
Hmm.
and many of them do line up because they know that's a time that you will take the time
They
to see
do.
them, right?
Yes.
So that's what they do. And when you had that recognition of her, that warmed her heart. That was like a
Oh.
getting all of that. That was like the recognition. That's like, yes, we made the connection. So here I am. Here is everything. Because there will be times, and I know you felt intensity all come in at once. So there'll be times where you'll get it like, whoa. And I'm also getting that sometimes that intensity is to give that to someone. So when you're sitting with someone, why I brought up the son was the love for his mother would come through
Mm,
so strong. And so he would keep
yeah.
pumping that love through to express how much he loved
Yeah.
his mother.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'll get that sometimes. Like I'll see
Yeah.
them, I'll be able to say, okay, this is who I've got. And they're like, yep, that's them. And then all of a sudden, just like you get this like wham of love. And I'm like, I have to
Yes.
just pause for a second because there's so
Yes.
much love right now.
That's
Can't really
that's
go past it.
that. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's it's interesting because clairvoyance I think is, well, it really is probably the most common thing that people ask about is, when am I going to see? I want to see.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
many people that come to see me anyway, their main clairs tend to be like empathic and emotional through the body. Well,
Hmm.
clairvoyance um, has so many different, just like clairaudience, clairvoyance has so many different factors to it. Like it works in so many different ways. And so it's a disservice to see clairvoyance as only seeing a physical spirit, which is what a lot of people believe is the
Yes.
experience. And it is an experience that does happen. And it
Yeah.
happens to people, sometimes randomly. Some people see spirit just like human beings walking around. So I think that depends on what your physiology is, what your, um, but one thing I did hear, and I know that you've heard this too, is that yes, we can all see. Yes, we all do have the ability to see. And what exactly does that mean? So what do you think about that? What do you think about the clairvoyance in that?
Well, that's funny that you ask. Yes, I think that we all have the ability. I think we all have the ability to have all the clairs. It's just like
Yes.
recognizing that we have the
Yeah.
ability or that they're at
Mhm.
different levels. Like we can
Yeah.
all play basketball, we can all swim, we can all dance, we can all
Yes.
sing, but at
Yes.
different levels, you know?
Yes.
So,
Yes. So why would
um,
this be any different? Why would this
right,
be any different?
right,
Why
exactly.
can't you? So maybe your feeling and your ability to tune into somebody's emotions is the strongest, which mine is very with energy. I'm very tuned into being able to um, break down energy and work through
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
But
it's,
let's say if that's your strongest ability, well, the other ones are still there. They're still
yeah,
working, but you have to maybe work a little harder with them,
yeah,
and that happens organically if you keep working with the clair that you have. You keep
yep,
working with that. The other ones it's just a matter of time before
Yeah.
they start to all work together.
Yeah. So it's so interesting. I recently did a meditation and kind of got some information
Yeah.
on clairvoyance. And
Yeah.
I thought it brought like a really interesting perspective to what clairvoyance was. Um, so I got clairvoyance is the ability to see solutions, see problems, see people for who they are, and to see people on the other side, and to first master the knowing that we all have the gift of clarity in seeing. And the more we do that, the more we will understand it as it relates to the other side. And I just love that because like see a solution. Like there's always those people who are like really good at like
Yes.
coming up with the solution and they see this
Yeah.
and you say they see the solution. And it's so
Yes.
true. Like, gosh, just last night we were helping my mom put together a chair and like
Mhm.
it wasn't going the way that the directions said. And it was like, why don't we just do this? And like I could see us changing the chair around and changing the way that we were going to do it. And I could see it
Mhm.
working right. And so we did
Yeah.
it and it worked. So we saw the
Yeah.
solution or being able to see the problem, even like seeing the problem. I feel like in relationships, like you can see, oh, that's not going to work out well because of this and that.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
feel the energy of that. Or I see that that's really going to work out because of
Yes.
blah blah blah. I feel like
Yes.
that's the way when we see a spirit too. It's like you see all of that. Like you can see these really dynamic perspectives.
Yes. I love that. I absolutely love that because that's taking that I see and really showing the expansiveness of what that means. So I really love that. And as you're saying that, like all kinds of things are firing off in my head, like
Oh
different
yes.
ideas. And the one thing that comes to mind is, and I just said this to somebody last week, one of an ability that I have that I love and I'm so grateful for it is that I see people for who they really are. Like I see their totality, right? I can
Yes.
see, so that person that's sitting with me might not see their potential. They might not
Yes.
see all the opportunities that are actually around them. They may not see, so they might be kind of trying to get out of this box, but I can see that, oh my gosh, this person is so beautiful and they have all of this. And that is my favorite thing in the world, to be able to sit with somebody and view that. And that's exactly what that is. That's clairvoyance. And that comes from the third eye
Yes.
to
I
do that.
agree. That's so funny. And just like kind of being able to see the perspectives. I remember one time, I feel like I have that ability too. And one
Yes.
time
Yeah.
I had a friend who was going through a divorce, and we were sitting at a table, and I was good friends with her, so I kind of knew the whole story, you know. And then she was telling the two friends that hadn't quite heard the whole story and caught up, and so she starts, you know, kind of like dissing on him because she's obviously in a divorce. And then I was kind of like, well, you know, he's going through this and he's doing that. And I think he's really like this. And the
Yeah.
one friend looked at me and goes, wow, you're a really understanding person. And I was like, oh, I never thought of it. Like, I thought everybody could like see the big picture
Yes.
of
Yeah.
how things
Yeah.
can crumble and how two good people
Yeah.
can work or not work or, you know,
Right. Right.
and
That's funny because I
yeah,
would always get that a lot too, right? People would say to me through my whole life, "You're very understanding. You're very non-judgmental," you know, and naturally, because I would see the, just like you're saying, that bigger perspective
yeah,
around people or
yeah.
situations.
That's really
Yeah.
funny. I too, you
Mhm.
probably get like I'd always get like people would get annoyed by someone, you know, like a coworker, like, oh, that coworker. And I'd always be like, really? Like, they never bothered me. Like they're, you know,
Yeah.
like because you
Yeah.
just see their personality. Like it's
Right.
you just hold space for that.
That's
So
right.
that's really funny.
Yeah. And that's like that is something that I think many people that are healers and really drawn to the spiritual path have that ability and might not even recognize it as an ability.
That's
right?
true.
Because
And you know what's so funny is like
yeah,
I've kind of connected that ability already to my metaphysical self because it's
yes,
like you say, there's a line at my door every night
yeah,
and you never know who it's going to be.
that's right. That's right.
But you have to treat every single person that walks through as, like someone, a child of God, a
That's right.
whole person that deserves respect no matter what they
That's
went
right.
through, what they did, who they are, the feeling they give me,
That's
and
right.
give them light and love and have no judgment.
That's
So,
exactly right. That's
and
exactly right.
and not only the ones that are like come to you by themselves, but when you have clients that
Yeah.
come to you and then their
Yeah.
family members reach out,
Yes.
and you're
Yes.
and that's kind of my favorite. Like, I just love it. I think that's my favorite thing is that there is just no fluff. Like, someone comes to you and then you just get right into it, no
Yep.
judgment.
Yep.
What do you need?
Yep.
What advice do you want to
That's
hear?
right.
What,
That's right.
let's get you
Yeah.
whatever you need.
Because it and I love that you just said that because that is a true gift, and it's a gift to experience that, to receive that. And I've been on the receiving end of that, and I know you have felt that before too. And to have
Mhm.
somebody just say, let's look at this. Let's go through this. And to really not
Mhm.
have the judgment. And I think that you know, well, of course, our life experience, our the things that we go through really can support that, really can help that. Because I know for
Mhm.
me, it really helps when somebody comes and they're experiencing cancer. They're experiencing a
Mhm.
loved one that has cancer or has hard times, has financial difficulties, somebody that they're going through a lot of stress in their family with their children, addiction, all of those things that touch our lives or that many people like watching, like the things that you've been through are there because you've experienced that, and you can take that experience and transmute that into this beautiful foundation to offer to somebody else, to say,
Mhm.
look, I understand you and you're okay, and you're not bad and you're not wrong, and I can see this whole bigger picture. And that is the beautiful energy that spirit works through, is that energy. So really working at that non-judgment and at those areas. But where does that come from? That's not judging ourselves. So we can really expand that by
Mhm.
giving that compassion and that non-judgment that we give to other people. And that was the key thing for me for a very long time, because I love to see the beauty in everyone else, right? But I wasn't doing that for me. Because when I
That's
turn
so
into me, I'd
funny.
be like, no, 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 Michelle, you're doing that wrong and you're doing that wrong. you know?
I listened to this meditation masterclass thing, and the first thing he said is, "What is mindfulness? It's the ability to not judge." And I was
Yes.
like, to have an experience and just not judge it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there you go.
And that is so that's a spiritual practice. So everyone take a day this week and say, okay, today is my non-judgment day. And that includes you. Like that includes you're not going to be judging yourself. So take a day and notice how that rises in you. Notice where judgment rises. And don't bash on yourself or judge yourself if you feel you're judging somebody or yourself, right? Be easy on yourself, but really examine that, because that is when we take ourselves off the hook, when we give ourselves permission, and that is often, that's a process. But when we give ourselves
Mhm.
permission, that's a change. That's a big change. And that's a really powerful change, because then we start to see ourselves as just as valuable as what we think. Like we look at everybody else, that's more valuable, or they do this better, or I'm not good enough. And then when we start to see the value in ourselves, we go, oh my God, like I am valuable. I am good. I do good things, and I don't
Yeah.
need to hold the shame of my mistakes. They're mistakes. I learn from
Mhm.
them, and so all of those things really help open up all of that clarity to help us see, more in our lives, for ourselves, for others, to see further. And I guess clairvoyance. So, can we talk for a second a little bit about the spirit, seeing the other side, like how that, and about spirits themselves? Um, how do we see the spirits that come to us? When you were talking there a moment ago, and you're talking about family, um, we're sitting with somebody and their family members come in. I know you really connect to the spirits. You really connect to their energy, their life, pieces of them, because you really bring in a full picture when you connect with spirit for people. I really feel that. Um, but what about how things are for those on the other side? And there was a question that came forward. So I'm just piecing this together. So guys, like, stick with me as the full moon's
Great
tomorrow. Give me a
segue.
break. Yeah.
Yes.
But I was just thinking, when you were saying that about the other side and clarity for them, what experiences have you had that you feel like, have you experienced spirit through clients or through any, in different stages, and how do you see them, or how do they carry the energy themselves? Like, are they having lessons over there? Are they, you know, there's a question that came through, and I think I wrote it down. Where is it? I can't remember who had the question, but it is a good question. So thank you to who put this up here. In heaven, does the other side too? Um, what is it? In heaven, does the other side see? For some reason, I wrote down knowing, but do they have lessons? Was that what the question was, Maren? Am I
Yeah,
getting that
something about
wrong?
that. Yep. Let
Like,
me
what is
see.
their experience? So basically, what I was saying there, as I'm trying to put some words to the images that I'm seeing, but there's a lot of there's a lot of conversation that we could have about when somebody transitions to the other side, and how it's not always the same, right? It's not always the same experience. But this person, I believe, and Maren must be looking for the question right now, but um, this one I think was about, do they have lessons? Was it? Maybe we should have been a little more prepared for the question, but
The question was I
no,
thought
just
the
kidding.
question was like, do they go to heaven and they relax and everything's like,
Okay,
hunky
that's
dory,
what I
or
thought. It
do
was
they
something
have
like
to like
that.
have lessons
Well, that's
while they're
that's
over
what
there?
came in my head with. I kept getting about lessons, and I'm like trying to
Yeah.
recall what it was, and but do they have lessons? I don't know what your experience is, Maren. I'll get you to chime in and talk about that. But what spirits have told me is that if they choose to, if they choose to learn lessons in spirit, yes, yes, but not the same way that we experience here, not the same type of lessons. So a spirit can learn through the experience of a human being on earth. They can, um, because we're all connected, is what they're showing me right now, because they're all connected, as we grow, spirit grows, and it is a choice. Being on the other side is the will, the what they choose. It comes from more of a we, more of a collective type feeling, a group feeling, not as individual. But there are different levels to what, a spirit transitions. You might have a spirit that says, I don't want to do any of this. I want to just rest. I just want to be. Okay, there are souls that are like that. There are souls that get right into, I want to help. I want to uh, help in spirit. They've told stories about helping receive animals over the other side, helping receive children. The, and we've talked about this too, like the schools, the learning, the different things that they learn about being guides and assisting. And Eric has talked so much about that. But the lessons aren't the heaviness. So we have duality here on earth, and that duality is necessary for us to be able to experience. It's like having that launching point, having something to launch off of. When you've got something heavy, then it allows you to have that contrasting experience so that you can then launch and learn from that. Now, when in spirit, there's not the heaviness of pain. There's not the heaviness of guilt, of shame, all of the things that would be connected into the ego, right? Which I'm not saying that that is wrong. It's just what's connected into the humanness is no
Mm-hmm.
longer affecting. Now, I will say something though, that many have told me about their loved ones. So let me just give a little example here. So we've got a lady that has come and she says, I really need to speak to my parent and a mother in this situation. And this mother, um, their relationship, it was not a good relationship. So there was a lot of releasing that went through. I think it was her father was also in spirit. So it might have been parents releasing a lot. And what they had said to me, and others have said the same, is that there's a part of them that is connected to their loved one's pain if they were involved with that pain. So let's say, for example, if there was a situation of abuse, or if there was something that that loved one was still holding on to here on earth that was directly affected or caused by the choice of that soul and spirit. It's not that it keeps them suspended. So it's not like they are weighted down with guilt and heaviness, but they have knowledge and understanding to the effect of their choices and how that has played part with that individual, and they can see the domino effects of those choices. So they're able to then help with their loved ones to help them come to a peace. And the goal is to come to that peace on earth if possible. And so they do that. And when that healing process takes place, so whether that's through a medium or any healer or any type of work like that, or whether that is through a lesson in some way, when that has been lifted, what they've said to me is that is like an expansion for their soul. So that's like expand. So there's not really one answer for that, but the common denominator is there is no heaviness in that way. There is not the human lessons. It's more like the ability to expand and to learn.
That makes sense. Yeah, I was thinking of it as yes, there are lessons, especially like in your life review, um,
Yes.
where you are learning. I feel like, life is like the big test, and then you get in your life review and you're like, well, this one, is just not right or wrong, but it's like
Yeah.
that's where you kind of go over your
Yep.
actions and kind of
Yep.
figure everything out. Like, that made so and
Yeah.
so feel this way, and this,
Yeah.
or even like I had a really cool experience where I believe I was part of someone's life review. And yes, super cool.
Wow.
And it started out where it was a dream, always is,
Yeah.
but I saw them later the next day, so I know it was real. But
Yeah.
um, I saw this car, like a Jeep, like driving really recklessly through like kind of like off-roading, like
Yeah.
driving over
Yeah.
hills and through trees and whatnot, like
Yeah.
really reckless. Like there was a group of kids, and then I followed them through the trees and whatnot. And then, and it just kind of, it was like a scene. And then these two women came to me with this boy, like 18-year-old, 19-year-old boy. And the two women, like one, she was older, and the other one, she had like missing hair, almost like she had been through like chemo or something, you know,
Hmm.
like she just kind of looked, and I was in this black void. So the whole room was dark, and I could just see them and the boy. And they came up to me and they said, "You're going to go with him." And I recognized him from the car, and I'm not going with him. I was like, I know that car is dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm not going with him.
Yeah.
And they laughed at me. They were like, no, you're not going in the car. Like, you're going to talk to him. And I was like, oh, okay, I can do
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
so anyway, so we went over to this table. It almost was like a picnic table, or like um, it kind of reminded me almost too of like a billiard table, where like just these big spotlights came down over. So it was like the room's
Hmm.
black. And then all of a sudden this big spotlight came over the table, and the two ladies and me and the boy sat at the table, and we started reviewing his life, like literally reviewing his life. And it played out on the table. And yeah. And um
I've seen it like that way too. I've
have
seen it.
you
Yes, okay. And I don't mean to interrupt because this is
no,
very
go ahead.
interesting, but I just want to say, and I think we talked about this in one of our episodes when I don't know if it was with the Akashic Records or something, and we were talking about that one dream I had that was like the shopping mall that had all the tables everywhere,
Oh
and
yeah.
they were standing over the tables and zooming in like
Yeah.
like a tablet, like
Yes.
like
That is so
moving.
interesting.
Mhm.
So what I saw was I don't quite remember like his life, but the last scene was him playing football. And like I just could see him on the football field, and like him coming off the field. And so then it
Wow.
kind of made like a reference to like plays of life. And I kind of then, and that's what I kind of like talked to him about. So I could really sense that he was really disappointed in himself. Like, I made these choices, and now my family doesn't have me, and I'm like
Right.
a disappointment to my team. And so
Mhm.
he just felt terrible about driving recklessly, making these reckless choices, and then dying as a result of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And so like I like remember talking him through it, like it's okay, it's just the plays of the game, like you just sometimes you make good plays, sometimes you make bad plays, sometimes and kind of like doing some football reference, which like is funny because I don't like football,
That is
but it
funny.
was
That
what
is funny.
like related to him.
Yeah.
But anyways, and it was really interesting. And the next day I saw the two women escort him downstairs. Like in my meditation, they came downstairs to visit me and say thank you. And so I'm like, okay, like they made it. Like, and at that point, I
Wow.
don't know if I like knew how to cross people to the light, but I felt
Mhm.
like he was
Mhm.
kind of stuck in that like
Mhm.
maybe black void or something, where
Mhm.
he didn't want to transition because he felt so bad about
Mhm.
his choices, And so then
Yeah.
they like brought me in to have me talk to him, and that helped. So as far as like lessons go, like obviously he was not enduring any hardships, but there was a huge lesson that he had to learn about
Yeah.
forgiveness, and forgiveness of
Yes.
himself. And I
Yes.
think you kind of, like you're saying, the duality, you learn because of your life experience, you learn those lessons.
Yes.
But I do also think we all have free will, right? So if that kid
Mhm.
wanted to stay at that level, he
Yeah.
could have,
Of
and he
course.
could continue to endure the hardship of
Yes.
feeling so horrible about himself and the choices that he made.
Yeah.
But because we talked through it, he was able to transition to the other side. And I
That's
think those two
amazing.
ladies were like receivers of the
Yes.
very
And
cool.
see, and that's the incredible thing, and it's important to also say that you know, no crossing is exactly like another. There might be common
Yeah.
denominators, like you and I saw that table, And, we've not talked about that before. Like at that time you saw that, and when I saw it, we never talked or anything.
No.
And so it's important to know that there are common denominators, but yet our experience is as individual as us, as individual as we are. And the reason why spirits come to earth, and well, one of the reasons, when it comes to learning, is because earth provides that duality that cannot be experienced in spirit,
Hmm.
that depth. And so, and I will share this. I wasn't going to share this today, but I'm going to share this about lessons. And you know what I'm going to say is my daughter turned 18 on Thursday. So, I've talked about it before. 'Cause my girls, my two girls that are at home, they have had some injuries and things going on this summer. It's been a very weird summer for us, but
It's,
my
I don't know
my
how you
daughter,
survived. Oh my
I don't
gosh.
know, but you know what? Like, and yet at the same time, I've never been happier. So it's a very weird feeling. But anyway, um, so my daughter turned 18, and as I've said before, she is a motorcycle enthusiast. She has been since she was young, and she had upgraded and she worked for it. She manifested this new bike. She worked very hard. She paid for it all on her own, did with the whole, she's very proud of it. So she's just had this bike, and it was, I think she's had about a month, maybe not even. And we went out to dinner on Thursday night, and she didn't want to wear her jacket, okay, her protective gear. And she says, "We're just going for dinner. I'm just gonna, I want to ride the bike." And she wanted to visit friends afterwards. So I was very uneasy. It really bothered me. And we had our birthday dinner. And after dinner, she got into an accident. And it was a
Mm.
pretty serious accident. Um, it was terrifying. And she is okay. First of all, she is completely fine. Now, minus the shock and the cuts and bruises and all of the road rash and all the other things she got. But the reason why I'm really saying this is that was a really tough lesson for her. And she knew immediately, because it wasn't just myself and her dad saying about the jackets, but many people, had said to her, "Don't hop on that bike without that jacket," because she was doing that. And we all know as parents, our kids will do things that we will do everything in our power to stop them, but we can't control them. We can't be with them 24/7. So this was a very hard lesson for her. And I was telling Maren before, when we were talking just a little bit before, and I was telling you about what happened. And that is, yes, a horrible, painful lesson. It was not nice for any of us to experience. But each one of us in our family got something from that, and still are, because it really, for one, she will never get on a bike without a jacket again. She's got one on order.
And speaking of, like judgment and lessons on this, you don't ever have to say to her, should have worn your jacket. See, I told you
No,
should have worn, because she
no, but
knew.
many
She
people
had the
do.
perspective. What'd you
Yeah,
say?
I said that people have said that to her, you know, um,
Accents.
and that's kind of, and I explained to her, because the first thing she said to me is, "Mom, you don't have to say it. I know, I know,
Yes,
I
right.
know."
And that's like going over the other side. You have the full perspective. You don't need to say anything. You know
Yeah.
now once you get over there.
And she is very empathic and highly intuitive. And I was telling Maren, to everybody, that that was like a near-death experience for her. And so her life flashed before her eyes,
Oh, I'm
um,
sure.
and it put a lot of things into perspective very quickly. And she had a friend pass away the week previous on his
Oh
bike.
my gosh.
Yeah, so there was a lot of things that have led up to this weekend, and these things like that we're going through, like, they're hard. Yes, they're hard. A lot of these things we go through. But when we do allow ourselves to face the fear and be in it, and we allow these lessons to come forward, when we really look at it, the more we do that, the more clarity we have, because these lessons are jam-packed with energy that has come from, um, you know, other situations in the past. So the current lessons we're experiencing right now have these touches in the past. And when we look at them and we work with them and we release them, we get more clarity. She's young, she's 18, and that was a really hard lesson for her to learn, but it's going to help her. And I really believe it will continue to help her. It'll help her look at things deeper. And just like myself, and I told her, I said to her, Shell, uh, what happens when our body says something to us, when we're getting signs that we're not paying attention to in our reality, they get louder and louder and louder. So I said, this was your loudest sign to slow down, to take care, to
Yeah.
to not take the things of being young and feeling invincible, and to be aware. You don't need to be fearful, but to be aware. And she was carrying a lot of fear after her friend had passed away the week before in a motorcycle accident. And
Oh,
and she's young, but that was a big one. And it helped us as a family because we have, our family's been through a lot of very intense things in a short period of time, but it has changed how we operate because more and more we're able to work together. And that really is my number one purpose, is my family. This is my biggest learning.
this is
Now
the
I'm going to
summer of
cry.
unraveling for you
It
guys, for
is.
sure.
It is. But it's a
How
deep
many?
one because I'll tell
Yeah.
you, if we were to go 8 years ago, when things, I say shit really hit the fan for me, with my diagnosis and everything and what led up to that, what's happening now feels like, there's so much. Like I said, like I never felt better in my life while these things are happening. Doesn't mean that I don't cry and it's not hard and I don't go through all those things, but I don't experience things the same as I used to. I don't panic like I used to. I don't,
Yeah.
I'm more grounded, and I'm so grateful for that, because I wouldn't have been able to show up for my children through what they're going through and to help them get through these chapters of
Gosh.
their life if I
Yeah.
were still swimming in my own, right?
That is so well said.
Yeah.
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 I
So,
am so incredibly grateful that your daughter is okay.
me too.
That's
She was
so
protected,
scary. She was 100% protected. Yes.
100% protected, and she knows it.
Hmm.
She knows it. Happening right on her birthday. And I know who was there because she shared her birthday with a family member of ours, with my husband's grandmother, and her energy was all over that road with us.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that.
They used to share their birthdays together. So that was Gigi looking out for her. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So it was really good. But yeah, so that's where we are headed into this full moon. So keep in mind, everybody, like, life happens, stuff happens, nobody's exempt from it, but you can get through this. We'll all get through this. And take a deep breath over the next couple days. So if everything is popping off and getting a little crazy for you, take a deep breath, take a walk outside. Smell the roses, listen to some music, do
mm-hmm,
something for yourself. Don't forget to take care of yourself amongst everything else, because this
mm-hmm.
too shall pass. And when we walk through the season of whatever we're experiencing, and it's hard. One foot in front of another, and as we keep going, the sun will return and we will be in rainbows and slides once again. So, on that note, you
That's
got anything
right.
else? Anything else, Maren?
Well, exciting announcement. I don't remember if we talked about this at the beginning. I don't think we have though, but
No, we
it's been
haven't.
okay. It's been a year since we've been doing this. I know.
Yay! Happy
So
anniversary.
happy anniversary, Michelle. I know we probably should have started with that, but
Yeah.
so we want to do a special anniversary episode
Yes.
next week.
Yeah.
I don't know what we should do. Maybe talk about like the highlights, or I
I
don't
don't
know. Give us
know. Okay.
advice.
Give
Give
us
us
some
a
advice, guys. What do you want? What do you want for next week for our anniversary show? What would you
yeah.
like? You tell
Yes.
us. You tell
Yes.
us, and we'll put something together.
1 year is just unbelievable. I remember
Yes.
I thought, I don't know what I thought. I didn't really think that we would ever make it here. I don't know, but I don't know where I thought our endpoint would be. So I'm
Yeah.
so excited that
Me too.
we're still going strong, and we have people that are learning from our discussions
Yeah.
and hopefully changing their perspective about
Yeah.
things. I love it. That's
Me
what we're
too.
here for. I'm learning so much. Oh my
Me
gosh,
too.
I just
Me too.
absolutely love this.
Yeah. This has been great.
Um, yeah, it's been amazing.
Mhm.
And I will say, like, it doesn't get better than this. Like this is the best way to learn. This is so cool.
I agree. 100%.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree.
yeah,
So if you guys are listening to this right now as you're doing your cleaning, doing your driving, we love you and we appreciate so much
we
that you're
do.
here with us. So this is our last episode of season 1, and next week will be our first episode of season 2
Oh
of the
my
M&M
gosh, I
Show.
can't believe it. That's unbelievable.
That's awesome.
Also, we are on Apple Podcasts now. So if
Yes.
that is easiest for you to listen, check us out. Mentorship Mondays with Michelle and Maren. We're up there. Find the circle with the M's.
Yep. Make sure you like it, subscribe it.
Oh, yes.
Give us
Like
a
it, subscribe it, rate
rating.
it, comment
Yep.
on it
Help us out.
on the
Help us get
actual
out there.
platform so that people find us. Yeah, because we're
Yes.
at the bottom right now. So.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
okay.
we'll make it easier for.
That's
I know,
okay
fine that
because
we're at the bottom. It just makes it easier
yeah.
for people to, because
Yes.
it's like you do. If you say like Mentorship Mondays, then all the other mentorship shows
Yes.
show up because they
Yeah.
have them. But if the more ratings we get, then when
Yeah.
we put in mentorship,
Yeah.
maybe we'll be one of the
We'll
first
be there.
searched. You never know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we're on top in the inside. And I know we're on top with everybody that's with us because we
Yeah.
have the best viewers in the world, because it's not just
Yeah.
viewers. You guys are family. You guys are our friends, our people. So thank you always. So thank you for the last year of all your support and love and
And your comments. It's been
comments, because
amazing.
yes, we read them, we love them.
Overwhelming amount of love received.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
Yes. Yes. I hope you guys feel it too. So
Mhm.
on that note, well, Maren, done for another Monday.
I
And we'll
can't
see
believe
you.
it.
I know we'll see you guys all next Monday, same time, same bat channel.
That's right. Don't, and enjoy the full moon tonight.
Yes. Yep. Take care of yourselves out there.
Yeah. All right. Bye,
Bye.
Michelle.
See you later, Maren.